Make sure you guys are taking notes because they're part of your notebook checks. So far on this chapter, when we've done our inequalities, they've always been where we have a single number and our answer is either bigger or smaller than that, except for those couple that were all real numbers with no solution. Today, and we're going to work on this for the next couple of days, these answers are a little different. Our answers are either going to be between two numbers, or they're going to be like everything but between two numbers. So we're going to look at compound inequalities today, which in some ways are actually easier than like the proficiency quiz you did today. In a lot of ways they're easier. So we're going to look at some compound inequalities. So I'm going to look at n is greater than -2 and n is less than 6. So in order to do a compound inequalities, or I guess let me back up. Since I have an and inequality, what this means is my answer is going to be everything between -2 and 6. So I'm not going to have just one circle on my graph, I'm actually going to have two. So to start with, to do an and problem, what we're going to do is we are going to put a circle at our first point. And when I say first, I mean the smaller one that will be on the left side. I mean the smaller number. We're going to put a circle at our smaller number. So when I look on this, I have n is greater than -2 and n is less than 6. My smaller number is here at -2. So sometimes my smaller number is really this second one. Sometimes they kind of throw you off. So I'm going to go over here to -2. I'm going to put a little dash right there. I'm going to put a -2. And I'm going to put my circle there. And I'm not going to fill my circle in because right here by the -2 I don't have the extra line. After that, I'm going to put a circle at my second point. And when I say second, I mean the bigger number. That will be on the right side. I mean my bigger number. So my bigger number here is 6, so I'm just going to go over here to the right. I'm going to put a little dash and I'm going to go 6. Like that. And I'm going to circle it, but I'm not going to fill in my circle because I don't have the extra line by n is less than 6 right there. I don't have this extra line. So I'm not going to fill my circle in. And with and problems, because my answer is everything between -2 and 6, I am going to connect my dots. And that's it. With and inequalities, we have our two numbers, we put our circles, and then we connect them. Because my answer is everything in between here. And when you do and inequalities, I don't need the numbers here in the middle, because sometimes they're really big. So I don't need to go, like I don't need to do this, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't need to do this piece right here. I just need the two ends, because sometimes when we do these, they're way far apart. I could have like 2 and then 300. I don't want to count up all those things in the middle. So I'm just going to do my two ends. So don't worry about these ones right here. Even though they're there, we're just not writing them down because that's a lot of work. So for my and inequalities, I connect the dots. And you connect the dots. We're going to look at another type here in a few minutes that's a little different, but for right now, we're just going to look at some ands, and we connect our dots. We're going to practice a couple of these. I'm going to look at x is greater than or equal to 3, and x is less than 7. So I'm going to put my left point, and my left point is my smaller one. My smaller number is 3. I'm going to go over here on the left. I'm going to put the number 3. I'm going to make my circle. And I'm going to fill this circle in because I've got my extra line right here. I got my or equal to line. So I'm going to fill it in to show that. Then I'm going to put my right point over here at 7. So I'm going to go over here to the right, put a little line, put 7 underneath it. Put a little dash there so it looks like a 7. I'm going to put my circle. I am not going to fill it in because I don't have that extra line, my or equal to line over here, my 7. And because it's an and problem, I'm going to connect my dots. And that's it. In some ways, these are kind of easier than the other ones. Do one more, then you guys are going to do one. So for this next one, I have x is greater than 2 and 19 is greater than x. So when we look at this one, what do we always need to have when we make our answers for inequalities? Like on this one right here. What do we need to do on this 19 is greater than x before we graph? Yep, we need to flip it because, is that x on the left side? No. So we need to put it on the left side real quick. Sometimes we have to actually solve it to get our answer, which we'll do mostly tomorrow. We're not going to do a whole lot of those today. So before I graph this, I'm going to flip it. I'm going to go x, I'm going to go 19, and it was pointing, it's like an arrow pointing at the x, so I'm going to have to keep my arrow pointing at it. My x is not on the left side. Remember, we always want the x or the y or whatever we're doing, we always want that on the left. This x wasn't on the left, so I just flipped it real quick. And now it's easier to see it's an and problem. Because I'm going to have, I got 2 is going to be on the left, 19 is going to be on the right. I'm going to connect them here. So my smaller number is 2. I'm going to go over here to 2, put my circle. I'm not going to fill it in because there's no or equal to line right there. I'm going to go here to the right, put 19. I'm going to make my circle. I'm not going to fill it in because there's no or equal to line. And then I'm just going to connect the dots. So my answer is between 2 and 19. Everything in there is my answer. Alright, first day in class problem. Do the one in the box here. I'll give you about 30 seconds or so. Do the one in the box. I'll have somebody do it on the board for us. And then we'll look at some or inequalities, which are probably just as easy, I would say. Headphone out, Dylan. We're doing our lesson. Headphones out, go listen. And off your ears. Thank you. I'll check it real quick while we're doing this. Yeah, this will work. You forgot to graph them, but I know you know how to graph them, so I'm not worried about it. That'll work, Keith. Yeah, batch up to passing. Sorry. Give me another 10 to 15 seconds. Pick somebody random here to do it on the board for us.
What's my grade here?
76.
Glad I can miss some homework.
You might have one or two.
Can I get the fucking?
Yeah. Or I can tell you and put them on Google Classroom.
Alright, different.
Do it every second. And Richie. There's one on the board for us. Alright, Richie's going to do this on the board for us. Then we'll do just 1 or 2 more slides and that'll be it. Watch out, I'll take that. Alright, so our left point is at -2. Right one is at 1. We connect them. And that's kind of a weird connecting line, but I'll take it, I guess. And we filled both of those in because both of those inequalities had the or equal to line. So nice job, Richie. Alright. We're going to look at some or inequalities, which are just about as easy, I would say. Maybe a little easier. So, I'm going to look at t is less than 0 or t is greater than or equal to 5. So for or inequalities, it's got the word or in there. We are going to graph our first inequality. When I say first, I mean the smaller number, the one that will be on the left, just like before. So we're going to graph our smaller number on the left. So my smaller number is going to be this 0 right here. So I'm going to go over here on my left side. Its t is less than 0. I'm going to make my line. I'm going to put 0 underneath it. I'm going to put my circle right here. And then I'm going to make my arrow going to the left because this looks like an arrow going left. That was there. Let me try it again. Because my arrow's going left because it's everything less than that. This kind of looks like an arrow going left. That's how I'm going to make my arrow. Just like that. After that, I'm going to graph my second inequality. When I say second, I mean the bigger number. So I'm going to graph my bigger number on the right. So my bigger number is this t is greater than or equal to 5. So I'm going to go over here to the right. I'm going to put the number 5. I'm going to make my circle, and I'm going to fill it in because I have the or equal to line. This one is going to be an arrow going out to the right because it's t is greater than is going to the right. Or it kind of looks like an arrow pointing right. And then for or inequalities, that's it. I'm done. Or inequalities is just two things on the same graph. So our difference between our two compound inequalities, if it's an and inequalities, you connect the dots. If it's an or, your arrows go out. That's kind of how I remember it. And you connect the dots, or your arrows go out. Ands go together, ors go out. That's kind of my little, I don't know. For the or, my little rhyming thing, so I remember it. Or your arrows go out. So we're going to practice a couple of or problems, and then we'll be done. We'll skip kind of this second half. We'll skip some of the tougher ones for now. We'll just practice ands and ors. You got this down, Keith?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So to practice a couple of or problems, I have x is greater than 4, or x is less than or equal to -1. So when I look at this one, what is actually my smaller number that will be on the left side? The -1, right? Did they write that one first? No. So this one we got to be careful because this is my smaller number. It's actually going to be on the left side. So you got to be careful because sometimes they're kind of sneaky like this. So I'm actually going to go over here to the left and put my -1. I'm going to make my circle and I'm going to fill it in, and then my arrow is going to go out because it's an or problem. My right side is a little, or is same thing basically, but this time it's going to be a 4. Go over here to the right, put the number 4, make my circle. I'm not going to fill it in. My arrow is going to go out. And that's it for my or. My arrows go out. For or problems and for and problems, I don't always even really think about the arrows as much as I just remember, oh, if it's an or, better make my arrows go outside. If it's an and, I'm going to connect my dots. Let's look at our next one real quick, and then we might skip the last in-class problem and just make up an exit ticket, but we'll see. For my next one, I have x is greater than or equal to 8 minus 1, or 2x is less than or equal to 1. On this problem, we need to solve for them before we can graph them, because I have an 8 minus 1 over here on this first problem. What's 8 minus 1 really? What is it, Richie? 7. We're all tired today. So I really have x is greater than or equal to 7 right there. All right. So we got to solve for these before I can actually graph them. And then I have or 2x is less than or equal to 1. I need to get that x by itself. How am I going to do that, Allison?
Divided by 1. Like 2, no, 1 divided by 2.
Yep, divided by 2. I'm multiplying by this 2, so I got to divide by 2 on both sides to get rid of it. I'm going to get x is less than or equal to 1 divided by 2 is 0.5. Alright, I got my two things. Which one is actually going to be on the left? 0.5. So I'm going to go over here to my left side. I'm going to put 0.5 after I've solved them, now that I can graph them now. So I'm going to make my circle. I'm going to fill it in because it's got the or equal to, and my arrow's going to go out. My 7 is my bigger number. It's going to be on the right. I'm going to go here to the right, put my 7, make my circle, fill it in because of the or equal to line. I'm going to make my arrow go out. And that's it. We're done with that after we put our second one on our or problems. Alright. I think what I want to do now is we're going to skip this one. Don't worry about that one. We're going to actually skip ahead to the exit ticket. Over here. And we're going to skip our first exit ticket problem and just do our second one. So, what I want you to do your second exit ticket problem. I will turn on Socrative. It'll ask you questions about this first one. Just put something random and answer the stuff about the second question. So, skip the first 2 exit ticket problems on Socrative and just do the second 2. So give me a second to turn it on. So skip the first number, or skip the first question on your exit ticket. Just type in something random or type in like skip and just answer the second question.